Hi, everybody. Welcome to season 3, episode 4 of PocaTV Live. My very special guest today, and I've been waiting for this for quite a while, is the fearless documentary maker and correspondent NINA JURNA.
Give me this. Give me that. Give me this. Give me that.
So, welcome everybody. It's a glorious day here in the Netherlands. Maybe a little chilly, but we're fine because it's been so very hot these past few weeks. Welcome to season 3, episode 4 of PocaTV Live. Thank you so much for joining. I've been telling you my special guest today is the fearless documentary maker and correspondent NINA JURNA. I'll be talking to her shortly. In the meantime, let me invite you to leave your comments and also to follow PocaTV on YouTube and on Facebook. The more, the merrier. Leave your comments, please do. As soon as you reach the studio, I'm seeing that there's not so much activity as yet, but I know you will be joining us very soon. Let me start by doing what I always do. I always livicate these programs to my youngest sister, Aisha, who left this earth 12 years ago now, and who's still very much part of life. And I've been telling you ever since the start of PocaTV that she's the one who actually had the vision for live television online. And this was, I'm telling you, way before anybody even came up with the technology to do that. So she always said it would happen one day if I just kept PocaTV going. And here we are. I'm doing a live program. And I'm going to talk to one of the people I've been chasing ever since day one, but she's as busy as I am, so she hardly had any time. So this one, yet again, is livicated to Aisha, who will never, ever be forgotten. I'm going to get in straight with my guest today because we got a lot to talk about. Welcome when you're here and welcome if you're watching a rerun, all of that, you understand. But let's go straight to my guest for today. Please welcome NINA JURNA. Hi there, Nina. Hold on, you're muted. Let me unmute you. No, I can't do that. You have to unmute yourself. It's in the bottom. Yeah, there you go.
Hello.
Welcome, Nina.
Hi, Alice. Hi. Finally.
Finally. I'm hearing something in the background. I don't know what it is. I think it's gone now. It's gone.
It's gone?
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Where in the world are you as we speak, Nina? I have no idea. I can't keep up with you.
I'm in the country where you were born, actually, in Suriname.
You
right
are
now.
in Suriname.
Yes.
Because it's a long story. We'll get to it bit by bit. But before I get to talking about you, your life, your work, your ambitions, and all of that, Nina, I'm going to take you back to the last regular PocaTV Live I did, in which my sister was my guest. She's an HR expert and she's an activist, much as I guess you are and much as I am. And we, of course, got to talking about capitalism. And this is what she had to say about that.
Capitalism is inherently unfair because in order for one to get rich, it means that others, and usually a huge number of others, stay in poverty or do the hard work to make that person rich. So the older I get, the more I shift to the left. And the more I see that there is a need for us as human beings to take care of each other. I think it has everything to do with the way we all live anonymous lives. And as long as you live an anonymous life, you don't have to care or know or be aware of the person living 20 kilometers further on suffering.
Does
Good,
any
good
of that?
words. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I think so. Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
elaborate a little on your stance on this?
yeah. I think it's that we are so we get more and more selfish, and and I was in the Netherlands a few weeks ago, and I see all the whole situation with refugees and how the Netherlands are. They don't want the refugees, but they don't let them work. People want to work. People want to develop themselves. I mean, and I think that capitalism. I see how they treat the refugees. I think it has also to do with capitalism because you want to get everything for yourself. You don't want to share. You don't want to share your money, your opportunities, your country. I mean, who decided that there are borders? I mean,
There you
so
go.
yeah, I think your sister is, yeah, it's interesting what she said. I
Okay.
agree with her.
And I guess much of that is going to be part of what we'll be talking about today because you're living in let's say Latin America because you're living all over the place, and that's one of the parts of the world that we count as global South and which are very much affected by the capitalist
Yeah,
way of life that where I am here in the Netherlands, right? So
yes,
I'm going to invite people to join this conversation if they are so inclined. What you need to do that is to scan this code on your phone. Please hold it horizontally for the best results. And if you're watching us on your laptop, which I much prefer, please then use the Chrome, what you call it? Ah, browser, the Chrome browser, and head on to this URL. It is case sensitive PTVL PocaTV Live 0304 season 3 episode 4. You really can't miss. So do either or either one of that and join Nina and myself here in the studio if you feel so inclined. It would be wonderful to have you with us. So back
yes.
to Nina. Yeah, Nina, I'm going to take you way back to the very beginning and we're going to take it to now because I've been saying you and I have quite a lot in common. And let's
Yes.
see if we can unearth some of that. So way back to your childhood. I must commend you on utter cuteness.
Yeah, well, at this age, I was cute. I changed, of course, but
No, no,
no,
no, no, no, no.
no, it's the cat. The name of the cat was Moses. That I think my parents told me that, but I mean, I don't know. I think I have some memories of myself when I was like 3 years old, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Mm,
Um, the picture on the left was in Amsterdam because the first years of my life after I was born in Renkum in the that's in Gelderland in the well, what is it? It's not
it's a province.
it's yes, but is it in the middle? I don't know. My
It's on the
proper
east side,
pronunciation in the
Middle
east side,
East. Yeah,
yeah, Middle East of the Netherlands.
yeah.
We moved to Amsterdam and for some years, and then we went to the north of the Netherlands, where actually I grew up in a in an area with farmers, and I didn't like it so much. I wanted to
Mm,
go back to the place where the picture on the left is from, but yeah,
yeah.
my parents thought it was better to to live in the province on the in the north.
In the north,
So
right.
there I grew up. Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about the family life when you grew up?
Yeah,
What was it like for
I
you?
was uh, I was adopted when I was 9 months old.
Hmm.
My parents were hippies at that time. Actually, they were white. I think they were like also in my mother, for example. She was also working a lot for Amnesty International. They were activists also. It wasn't the time that you had the whole thing with uh, the influence of the United States, and the Netherlands had to choose if they were pro-Russian more or pro-United States, and there were a lot of protests. And my parents were very active in this protest with Amnesty International also. So they were, I think they also were a little bit like idealistic. They thought, well, we are going to adopt children. So
Children.
yes, because I have two. I have a brother and a sister who were adopted after me, and they came from South Korea. So we were like family, like a rainbow family. And when people saw us, they were like, "Oh, nice, a family, white people, me, and the Asians, Asian two children from Asia." But for me, it was very confusing because I didn't see myself either in the
Right.
family and also not in the village I grew up with, because in the village I grew up, it was a typical farmer village. Almost everybody was a farmer. Children in my classroom, they were family of each other. So I really felt like an outsider. And also in the family I grew up with, I also felt like an outsider. I was always looking for where's the other part of myself.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that formed me also.
So,
Yeah.
so were you able to talk about this with your parents, or was it something that was a little hush hush in those days?
It was. I don't know if I knew it myself at that days to name this, but it was a feeling I had. For example,
Right.
I remember when Michael Jackson became popular. For me, Michael Jackson, I was really a fan of Michael Jackson, and if I go back now in my memory, I think, well, my this whole thing about Michael Jackson, it was not only about his music, it had to do with my identity. I saw someone who was very popular that I connected with, and
Who
everybody,
looked slightly like you, or at
yes,
least,
looked like me, and yeah,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I think that was also a part of the whole thing. So at that time when I grew up, I could not point my finger on this, but it was something I felt. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And were you lonely, or did you have friends and
I had a lot of friends, and I never, in my memory, I always say, well, the children in my classroom, I had a lot of friends, and I never felt something that I was different, but I looked different. And for
yeah.
myself, that was, my hair was different, and I also remember when um, playing with friends at the time at their house, the parents were sitting on the couch and staring at me because
Oh,
yeah,
really?
in the village, you didn't see other persons of color.
A-
It was
And
my brother, my sister, and me.
and were they touching your hair and telling you look so different? What?
No, they didn't tell me that, but I remember those, how they looked uh,
Yeah.
from that couch sitting. And maybe it was like they were only curious. I don't want to say that it was like they had like a bad thing in mind or something, but
Mm-mm.
as a child, you want to be as everybody.
That's
You don't
right.
want to, I didn't
You
want
don't
to,
want to stand out.
no, and it was already different because my parents were hippies and they were like activists. So they were already, and they came from Amsterdam, so they were already different in this village and
Yes.
with three adopted children. And so everything was different at that time. And I didn't like that so much,
I can
being
understand.
different.
I really can understand that. I myself had a lot of traveling as a child, and I was
Yeah,
always the odd one out. But at least, I had brothers and sisters who looked like me, and
yeah, yeah,
it's obvious that I came from my parents. So that to me
yeah,
was very much home. I can imagine it must have been kind of, well, let's call it a little awkward for you,
yeah,
just
yeah,
trying to fit in, and
yeah,
like you say,
yeah,
and still, I think it was your early 20s when you started to look into your own
yeah.
background. And I stole some pictures from your Facebook so we could, and this is one that I know means a
Yeah,
lot to you. Tell
yes.
us who this is.
Yeah, this is Paulina, and she actually was the grandmother of my biological Surinamese mother.
So
So,
she's your great
yes,
grandmother.
she's my great grandmother. I started to look for my biological family, yeah, early 20s. And in the Netherlands, we have this program called Spoorloos in Dutch. It's like adopted children, and they connect them with their biological family. And then you always have this very important moment that the adopted child and the biological mother or father see each other, and they're like hugging and crying. Well,
Yeah.
my first meeting with my biological mother was not like that, not at all.
Oh.
It just,
Oh.
no, it was it was nice, but we just gave each other a hand, and I said, "Hello, I'm Nina," and she said, "Hello, I'm Josta," that's her name. So it was like a normal, you know. But when she brought me to the house of my grandmother, the daughter of Paulina, of
Of
the picture
Paulina.
you see,
Mhm.
then it was really for me, yeah, that was this Porlos moment that I was like hugging. And I don't know why, but that's where I felt like a deeper connection also with like a cultural thing that I was looking for, I guess.
And
And
maybe a grandmother has less problems in,
yeah, maybe,
hugging you,
yeah,
accepting you than
yeah.
your mother who
Yeah, I don't
who
know.
didn't keep
It
you.
was, yeah, I don't know if it was because of that, but also maybe I remember she stood in this, in the door, and she saw me, and she said, "Oh, Nina,"
Oh,
it was different. And I was really so happy with my mother. She introduced me to the whole family, and I thought, wow, this is really so, it's amazing because almost there were a few people who knew that she had a daughter. I have still two half brothers of her, but nobody knew that she had also a daughter. And then she called everybody and said, "I have to tell you something. I have a daughter, and I want to tell you about her." And she came back in my life. So it was really a very nice period of my life. And they organized also. Well, it was in the same period while my grandmother became, I think, 70 or no, 80 years old. So they organized a whole party, and it was also a party for introducing me in the family.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Oh, that must have been
and
a moment.
yeah, it was really nice, and it was. I think I was so lucky also to have a biological family who came from Suriname, because the Surinamese people are so like, they invite you and they are so warm. So I really had that experience.
That's
And
lovely.
then I went to Suriname a few years later, and there I had also this same experience, but then in the country. And that was for me, I really remember then when we were driving in, I'm sure you know it, the Afubakaweg. The
Yes. Yeah.
Afubakaweg, at that time, it was still a
A
very
dirt road.
dirt road, with bauxite and things. And I remember I had an experience driving on the road,
Wow.
and I think, "Well, this is my country," and I really felt the earth. It was really amazing that I had an experience. Wow, there's a country that is part of me.
Yeah.
So that was really a very deep experience I had in Suriname. And after that, all my money I saved, uh, I went to Suriname for holidays, tried to work a little bit there, and then I decided in the year of the millennium, I decided to move to Suriname to live there.
What a
And
big
at that
step.
time, yeah, yeah, but it was a step because in the Netherlands, I had a lot of um, unrest in myself. And after connected with my biological family and with the country, I really felt, now this is where I was looking for. This gives me more. Yeah, I understand now what my purpose is. I have to go there. And at that time, I was in the beginning of my career, and everybody thought you are
You're
crazy because
crazy,
You're
right?
crazy. Suriname at that time, it had a lot of problems. I mean,
It
I
had
had, yeah,
yes. We will
yeah,
we will definitely talk about the time that you
yeah,
moved to Suriname. But
yeah,
this is one of those similarities between you and me, because that moment that you felt the earth
Yeah.
I can so much relate to that because I had a similar experience for some strange reason with Jamaica. And here we
Oh
are.
wow.
I live there part time, and I want to make
Yes.
that definite move at some point. So
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you know how it feels to have that feeling,
to
right?
suddenly
That's
to
yeah.
suddenly know you are at home. That's how
Yeah.
I call it. And I never had that feeling before. I can feel at
Wow.
home somewhere, but to feel that I am home,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the first time I ever had that was when I set foot in Jamaica. Go figure.
Oh,
I
beautiful.
can't really. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got some comments coming in, Nina. You can, if you
Okay.
check your top
Can
right,
I
you
see
can see.
that?
Yes, if you check top right, you're gonna see comments. Just press it. But I'm showing
Oh
you
yeah.
some here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my
Yeah.
brother watching. He says, "Hello, Miss Yurna. A lot of presents on TV lately, and a lot of joy watching you." That's my brother
Oh,
talking to
nice.
you.
Oh, nice. Hello,
Yeah.
Melvin. Thank you, Melvin.
Yes, and DJ Conch, my my best male friend in the entire world. He's watching too, and he's very
Oh,
busy because
nice.
he's got a lot to do. Hi, Poca and Nina, so they're there. I guess some other people. DJ also says sorry for the lateness. We don't mind, DJ. We know you are very very busy today, so appreciate that you are watching us.
Nice.
So on the other side of your family, so we kind of touched on your mom's side of the family, your biological mom, but then there was the story about your biological father as well. And
Yes.
that
Yes.
took us
Yeah.
took you to Palestine.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I think
Tell
yeah.
us.
Well, we. I mean, we know that people. You have all these mixes, mixed people in the whole globe. But I
Mhm.
found out that yeah, my biological father. He was born um, in what at that time was Palestine, and now it's Israel after.
Occupation.
Yeah, yes,
Hmm.
it was. Well, that was in Jaffa, which is at that time it was a big city when he was born, and now it's like a neighborhood in Tel Aviv.
Hmm.
He was born there and in a Palestinian Christian family, and well, actually, he was studying in the Netherlands when he met my biological mother, and they had
Now,
a like a yeah.
what are the chances of that? So your mother from
Yeah,
Suriname and your father from
yeah.
Palestine meet in the Netherlands,
Yes, yes, in Nijmegen of all
of
places,
all
where
places.
they where they studied,
Yeah.
and yes, I was. They had a short relationship, and actually, he didn't know that he had a child.
Mm.
Um, so, well, as a person who always is digging in my roots and in my family, and I wanted to know after I found my biological mother, who was my biological father. I kept on searching for him, and uh, well, it's a long story, but I did some I did research in the 90s, and then during the millennium when I lived already in Suriname, and I found out that he still lived in the Netherlands, that he never went back to Palestine after his studies,
I see.
and uh, it is recently, it's 5 6 years ago
Hmm.
that after I tried to get in touch with him several times, which he ignored. Then I wrote him a letter and I said, well, I know that you didn't know that I exist, and maybe you are not my biological father, but can I do a DNA test because I wanted to know for sure that it's you because my mother says you are the one. And then he asked me in the letter, and he wrote back, why do you think it's me? And then I told him in this letter all the details I knew from my biological mother. She told me that they met each other in an international student club, and she has a really good memory. So she knew
Hmm.
some details
Hmm.
about that time and his study and his family. And then he said, well, this is information that can only be related to me. So, yes, I want to participate in this test.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and so we did. I was in Brazil living already, and he lived he still lived, he was in the Netherlands. So we did this test, you have all these possibilities to do this DNA tests, and then
Yeah.
you could also follow it online when the DNA is in the lab, and it was really a crazy time. And then I got this the results, and we had a 99% match. So
Wow.
then my whole life changed, actually.
And it took you. You went to see the family out there. How,
Yes,
cousins and
yes,
aunties and all of that.
yes, amazing, a whole family. Yes,
Wow.
and I went also with my children.
Yeah.
So it was like a road trip, and yeah, I didn't know so much about the Middle East and the whole situation in Israel and
Hmm.
Palestine, occupied situation. But yeah, so we stayed in the West Bank in with the family, also with the brother of my biological father, and they really were also very warm to
Wow.
me. So I was really lucky with like to both sides that
Yeah.
welcomed me, and also my adopted family, which is, so I always say, well,
You have
a
three
three
families.
family. I was at the end. When I was young, I felt alone, but now I'm in totally a lot of families. Yeah, it's really nice.
What a fantastic story.
Yeah,
So all of this happening in your life must have been emotional. It must have been infuriating at some points. Yet you went on to pursue the career we in the Netherlands know you for. Let's take you there.
yeah,
We all know you as this television person, the writer in the newspaper. I got some logos up there. These are people you worked for, or companies you worked for. It all
yeah,
started. Your fame in the Netherlands started with AT5, the top one
yeah,
there, and
yes.
it's taken you to where you are now. And I keep telling you, you are the fearless documentary maker and correspondent, and probably much more. What made you go into journalism and all of that?
Well, journalism was, I knew when I was 13 years old, I knew already that I wanted to be a journalist. We had in the Netherlands, we had like a series, Lou Grant. I don't know if you remember that on
I
TV.
definitely remember Lou Grant.
Yeah, Lou Grant was, I really loved Lou Grant. And so that was, and I also was always very curious. I remember, asking people things. And so, yeah, and then you had this school of journalists at the time. You could choose, there were like three schools of journalism,
Hmm.
and you had to choose one, and then you had to do the test. And so, yeah, I knew already for sure I wanted to be a journalist, but I didn't know if it was media or writing. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that for me, in a young age, that was already clear. Yeah,
Yeah. uh,
yeah.
there you go. That's another similarity. I knew very early that I wanted to be a journalist. I was always taking notes and drawing pictures and
Well,
writing
actually,
stuff.
you, Eldred, you are also an example because we are not so much different in age maybe, but you were one of the few. I mean, at that time, we didn't have any black colored presenters on TV. You had Norrie Beyer, you had Yvette Forster and Guy de Koster. They had this very nice program by Lobet.
Yeah.
You were there, so I mean that in my when I grew up, I mean that was they were the only people. So you are definitely also an example to understand. Well, this is possible. It's not
Yes.
only the regular Dutch white persons you see as a news as an anchor.
As
So
an
that
anchor.
was also, yeah, very
Well,
important
thank you
for
for
me.
mentioning that. That always makes
Yeah,
me feel really
definitely.
good. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
it wasn't even my objective at the time, but it turns out it had that effect
yeah,
on people
yeah,
younger than you. My old viewers, I mean, they're all over the place now, so that's great. But it's always nice to hear.
yeah.
And well, it's a good thing you did that, because now, Nina Jurna, you are the Dutch correspondent in the entire Latin America. And I looked it up. That's an area of 19.2 million square kilometers. How do
it's
you even
it's
go about your work?
yeah, it's also, it's not possible, of course. And of course I don't do it's not that I'm doing this all alone.
Mhm.
I have very good colleagues, for example, at the newspaper, the NRC. we have this foreign desk. There is a very good colleague who travels also from Amsterdam sometimes to Mexico, to the Middle Central America, and also at the NOS there's like a foreign desk with good people. So yeah, but I am the correspondent, and but with a lot of help from others. So yeah,
Obviously, but it's
yeah,
still a lot of
yeah,
travel, I imagine.
definitely, yeah,
It's a lot of reading.
yes,
It's a lot of watching TV and listening to
yes,
radio programs to know what it is. I mean, because you are now based in Rio, in
yeah,
Brazil,
yeah,
but if anything happens in Guatemala, they're going to send you, and then you need
yeah,
to know what it's about.
exactly, yeah. So you were always well, in the base. I really love this continent. It's since I was young, I was always interested in Latin America,
Hmm.
South America, Latin America, and so for me, following the news of this continent also, I really love it because I love this the variety and the history, and I also have the feeling that I really understand this continent where
Oh,
it's
really?
yeah it's
More
all
so
it's
than.
very complicity. There's a
Uh-huh.
lot of complicity, but I in the base I have the feeling that I feel more connected. I understand it more, and it's for me
More
more
than you understood.
interesting.
More than you understood the Netherlands.
Yeah, well, the Netherlands is easy for me. I mean, when I go there, and as soon as I'm on Schiphol, I know everything.
Hmm.
But it's not. I don't feel a soul there. It's the last time I was in the Netherlands again. Why don't I don't feel like a like soul. I don't know. And in
Mm.
this continent, I always feel like connecting a soul. Yeah, and therefore it's also easier for me to to understand it. Also,
Yeah.
although the history is very painful and complex,
Hmm.
and even I mean, you have like people in Brazil, settlers from Germany, but even if I'm there, I understand them. It's
Interesting.
yeah. Really feel like I understand more this continent than yeah,
Than Europe.
yeah,
I guess I do too. It's it's
yeah.
it's
I think
it's
so.
it's a culture thing. You are famed in the Netherlands for making complex stories understandable for all of us. And one of the things you did, which I always found quite brave, you when you were in Suriname in the beginning, you
Mm.
interviewed
Former, yeah,
the
yeah,
former president, also known as the dictator,
dictator. Yeah,
Desi Bouterse.
yes.
So take us back to that, if you can.
I lived in Suriname a few years already, and always it was well. At that time, there was another president. It was President Venetiaan, but
Yes.
Bouterse, who was always on the background, he played a very important role.
Hmm.
And I think he was also a member of parliament at that time. And in the Netherlands, yeah, we know Wouters in relation to the 8th December killings, who were
Yes.
15 well, people from the opposition, journalists,
Were
lawyers,
ruthlessly,
well, yeah, were
yeah,
killed.
ruthlessly killed. Yeah.
Yeah, by the military regime who was
Mhm.
on. Wouters was the military leader at the time.
Yes.
So
This is 1980. Hmm.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, when he
80
came
or 82.
82, the killings,
82.
yes,
Hmm.
yes. So, and I thought, well, it's but who is the person behind this? What we all know about him, but I really wanted to interview him
Hmm.
more, also not only on this case because I knew already he doesn't want to talk about it because there was also this trial against him already.
Yeah.
So, but I was really interested in the person behind all this, and
Hmm.
a person which is still has a lot of followers, still plays a role in Surinamese
To
politics
today even.
today, even yes,
Hmm.
today
Hmm.
even. And at that time, he was a member of parliament.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he became also a president, but that was not in
Exactly.
this time
Hmm.
the situation. So
Hmm.
I tried to interview him, and then for years, and then I had a very a person who was very close to him said, okay, but how do you want to do that? I said, well, he's always, we hear always, Bouterse is in the interior, Bouterse is in the jungle. And we knew that he had a house there. That, well, maybe it's possible to interview him there. And so, with a lot of lobbying, together with a Surinamese colleague of a radio station, Steven van Frederikslust, we went to the jungle
To the jungle.
with a camera, and we stayed there 2 days. And Bouterse was also there, and we did the interview there with him. And
Wow.
it had,
So,
yeah,
what was the gist of what did you extract from him? And I'm looking at the clock, Nina. We need to
yeah, we
speed
need
it
to
up just a
hurry.
little.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
not hurry, but
Well,
speed it up a little. What was the
yeah,
gist of the interview?
that he at that time was in the interview was really see himself in the line of Che Guevara. It's like a revolutionary leader, and
Yeah.
also his the things he said about the Netherlands as a formal colonizer. And I think at that time it was not so clear what his vision was about other things, because we never heard him. He was always, in relation to this 8 December killings. And
Yeah.
there were also people were angry of me because they said, well, why are you giving him this space to give his opinion about other things, because we only want to know him if he uh, did he
If he
kill these
admits to
people.
those killings. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the interview that he, gave his vision about other things. For a lot of people, it was an eye opener. But there
Yeah.
were also people who were really angry at least that you give him space. So yeah,
I see. All right. Another thing that you did that really resonated with me is when you went to Venezuela and did
yeah,
this very sad story.
yeah. It
Give us a
was.
short recap of this story, please.
This was in the medical in child hospital, and that time, the whole country, which used to be the one of the richest country of South America with a lot of
Yeah.
oil, and because of the whole mismanagement of Maduro, the president, and the whole system of communism that really actually broke down the country, and also the whole all the whole things about the United States, who blocked a lot of things for Venezuela,
Yeah.
had a result for medical situation, for the social situation, and this mother and her child. This child was actually 14 years old, and he looks like it's really terrible. And this picture, we made, and it was the headlines and in the NRC, the newspaper. And at that time, I really went a lot to Venezuela to write about this, the whole disaster and the whole crisis in the country, which is really
Yeah.
sad and still is going on actually.
Yeah, remember we started with my sister and her take on
Yeah,
capitalism. I
yeah,
always felt, but of course you know much better. I always felt that Venezuela was being targeted by the capitalist countries because Hugo
yeah,
Chavez, who was before
yeah,
Maduro, was I think it's fair to say a socialist president. He thought
yeah, and
the oil
popular and
is very
yeah,
popular. The
yeah,
oil is ours. Let's feed
yeah,
our people first, and then
yeah,
make them go to school. And
yeah.
that's when the United States jumped in and kind of targeted Chavez. That's how it went,
Actually,
wasn't it?
yeah, yes, and I think if Chavez was still alive, Venezuela would not be in this situation. I think after
Right.
his death, when Maduro came, and Maduro, we have to mention that he is a former bus driver. He was not really political, strong person. He became president, and his system get more and more like an oppressed. Like
Yeah.
also that's the situation. And of course, there are the blockades of the United States, but also the oppression of the people themselves by Maduro and his very small, powerful group. So that
Yeah.
was also the situation there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any idea how the young the young boy is now? Do you know?
No, no, I
No.
don't know. And it's after the COVID, I didn't go to Venezuela. It's in my plan
Hmm.
because not only her, but I have also interviewed other persons in Venezuela, and because of this situation there, it gave me a more like connection with the country because I came
Yeah.
there in the in moments that I had to bring my own stuff like food and like
Wow. And
toilet
toilet
paper.
paper.
Yes, because that was the situation
Ah,
in the
in
country.
Venezuela.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So see, when I say you're fearless and you go everywhere, I mean it. Here's another one. This is in Brazil, where you currently
yeah,
officially live. You are now in Suriname, you're telling me, but this is you're there on holidays, I suppose.
yeah,
This garbage belt.
yeah.
What's it? Gamashu, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
Gamashu. Hmm.
Yeah, Marcia. Yeah, this was the actually. I'm here with the. She was really. This woman is it's amazing.
Hmm.
This is the biggest. Yeah, what is it? Landfill, right? In
Yeah.
Rio, and
Hmm.
all the dirt and things from all the houses in Rio. It's here. People live around here because there's a lot of things like bottles, which has a value. So
Hmm.
they live around this landfill. They grab things from it which has value, and they
Hmm.
sell it.
Hmm.
This woman who lives there, she raised four children. One of her children is a manager. He's a manager, and so
So
all her children are have good positions because
because
she
she,
she
wow.
worked her whole life, put them on good schools with the money she earns there, and one of her children is a manager. All her children try to get her away from that place.
Hmm.
She doesn't want that.
She,
She and
that's her life.
she says, I she says, when I'm walking in Copacabana, which is the
Hmm.
richest neighborhood, nobody knows me, she says. But here everybody has respect for me, they know me, and she has a little house there in the outskirts of this landfill, and I made a
Yeah.
report there, and it's so amazing, and that's why I really like this work. I mean,
Yeah.
I am who am I to say to her, why are you doing this? No,
Exactly.
I listen to her and I think, wow, it's amazing that someone can live here in the smell. But
Well,
on the other hand, she it's her house, it's her home. She feels
it's her
home
home.
there.
It's her life.
It's her
I
life.
have I have a tiny little clip of the report that you did there. Let's have a watch, a look.
Voor velen is dit de laatste mogelijkheid om nog iets van hun leven te maken.
Porque não tinha emprego, não tinha o que fazer, não ia entrar para tráfico, não ia roubar nem nada.
Je kunt je niet voorstellen wat voor stank er hier hangt. Ik overdrijf niet als ik zeg dat ik bijna flauw val. Maar de mensen hier, die hebben het daar helemaal niet moeilijk mee. Waar zij het moeilijk mee hebben, is afscheid nemen.
Yeah,
So
because it's going to close. They closed the landfill, so they were really fun. And now, what are we going to do now? That was
exactly.
their
And
thing. Yeah.
has it been closed already, or is it still in the
It's
project?
still a little bit in the project,
Hmm.
but a lot of people they got houses in other places.
Hmm.
Um, I'm I don't know how. Afterwards, I stayed in contact with her, but I don't know the last years. I don't know how her life is. No, I
Okay,
don't really
so
don't know.
you
But
need to catch up with her then.
yes, definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Now that I see the video, I think, oh my God, yes. How is
How
she?
is she exactly? So Nina, the second part of the program, you and I will be talking about. Well, you got a wonderful series traveling through the Caribbean, and
And
so do
you
I.
also? Yeah.
Yours is already running, and mine will start next week. But before we get to that wonderful program of yours, this is the part in the show that my guests really don't like. It's called
The spot. 5 quick questions to
Yeah, this is the part where I fire 5 quick questions at you, and you only get to answer with one of the options I give you, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the part where I'm supposed to put in a little. soon. Let's do that. Hold on. Let's take it a little. Yeah, there. So let's go. Number 1. Suriname or Brazil? You have to choose.
Brazil. Sorry.
You get to elaborate on 1 or 2 after I do all 5 of them, okay?
Okay.
So you say Brazil now.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Documentary making or breaking news?
Documentary making.
Number 3. The Brits had a different brand of colonial history than the Dutch. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Number 4, Nina. Too many TV programs about the abolition of slavery in the Netherlands right now. Yes or no?
No.
Good. And the 5th one, what is the one thing, Nina Jurna, that you will never, ever, ever, ever do again?
Oh, do I have to choose or?
No, now you have to give me an answer. The one thing you would never, ever do again.
Oh, living in the Netherlands, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm born there, I'm raised there, but to live there permanently, I don't think so.
Never again. Don't
No,
be apologetic. It's your life.
Okay.
You get to do with it whatever it is that you want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
All right. So which of these 2 would you like to elaborate on?
Well, maybe the thing about Suriname and Brazil.
Mhm.
For me, right now in my life now, Brazil gives me a lot of more like space and things that I really like and like in life. And Suriname is like a stable thing for me. I lived there 11 years. Then I moved. My partner is from Suriname. My children were born here. So I have also a base here. But for myself, I feel home. I really feel home in Brazil right now.
And what is it? What is it about Brazil?
It is like it's so. I cannot. It's like we talked in the beginning, where I try to figure out this continent. I have that in Brazil. It's as soon as I think now I understand it, then something I don't understand anything about it, and makes me more and more curious. So
Yes.
I think that's it. And also I really like the way they live and the way they have like.
They look.
They
outlook
don't
on life.
judge. They don't judge, and especially in Rio, where I can I walk on my Havaianas everywhere to like a press conference or something. Well, here in Suriname, it's
No, you need
you
to
cannot
put
do
on
the
your tie. And your
correct
suit.
and
Yes,
So I think
But
I feel more
look
free.
you
at this
look
time.
like a Brazilian.
Yes, everybody say that. So maybe it's easier also because of that. But and I'm in the luxurious position that I don't have to choose because I have also a
You can
base
do
here.
both.
I'm right now in the house of my partner, which is also my house. So we, that's also the situation. For now, it's Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do know that I used to live in Brazil, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
there you go. There's another
Again.
similarity. Eu falo
Yes.
português como
Ah,
você.
que ótimo, que ótimo.
All right. The second one you'd like to elaborate on. So we had documentary or breaking news. The Brits had a different brand of colonial history. Too many TV programs about abolition of slavery.
I think I want to say about these programs because I'm really happy. You have your show. Your documentary show. It starts next week. The last 2 days there was it's online. It's 3 episodes. It's called Slavery and We. It's about Suriname,
Statia,
St. Martin Station, and Curaçao, and it's 3 young female presenters, also with roots in this countries. And it is. I think we came from a long way. We have to do more and more programs about this, and also see ourselves in this program. And it was so good to see this.
There you go.
And I was I was watching this documentary, of course, as someone who also have her own program now on TV, but also as an audience. And I was
Exactly.
really fun. Oh, this is so great. I was so happy. And
I feel the
I
same.
will be so happy to see your documentary program next week. So for me, I think we need more of this.
The great thing is, Nina, because of course it's a little nerve-wracking to see all these programs, and you're thinking, oh
Yeah,
wow, what if everybody else's program is better than mine, or they
yeah,
they do,
yeah,
or even they do the same topics. But what I've noticed so far, there are similarities, but our approach to the topics our approaches are so very different. So that gives a
hmm
layered view of that area which we also love so very much, and
yeah.
also I think it's typically Dutch to try to come between us by saying, yeah,
Oh
but your
yeah.
program starts later and
Divide
Nina's
and
already.
conquer. This is a
There you go,
system.
divide and conquer. And
Yes,
they
yeah,
don't take into account the fact that you and I, we had to watch all kinds of Dutch programs here. We never said it
yes,
looks like that program. We just
yeah.
watched either or both.
Yes, yes, and
So
also what also is so good is that we have an immense gap of this subject.
exactly. A
We are in the beginning. We are like babies if it's
Yeah,
about this subject. So
there's a lot of catching
there's a
up to
lot
do.
of thing to. I learned a lot when I mean I don't know anything about Stasia.
Hmm.
Um, small like some things I knew about Stasia, and it's also so good to see a presenter who has her own connection with the region. You know, that's totally different than as a presenter who comes there, makes like a history program, and goes to the next country.
Hmm.
It feels
Exactly.
different, and I really hope that. And because now that we are with more and we show this more on TV,
Hmm.
then we can maybe make a stable thing about it, this. You know, that's very important.
That's
So
what it's supposed to be,
yes,
especially
yes,
about that region. I mean, let's not forget the
yes,
Netherlands was there for many centuries, and
yes,
so it's part of Dutch life. But
yeah,
I've been saying that I've been quoting you as saying the Caribbean is more than just a beach with palm
yeah,
trees. And
yes,
my friend in Jamaica, Donna Mattis, she's responding to that. She said that's an understanding that the tourist needs to grasp, because if you ask me,
exactly.
but please contradict me if you feel so. I think the all-inclusive tourism taking place on those beautiful islands is
Yeah,
just another way of being capitalist and
yeah,
being colonial.
yeah, yeah. It's so sad. All that. I mean, it's. I was in your country in Jamaica when we went to this the Bob Marley place in the Nine
Hmm.
Miles. The tourists come there, and maybe that's the only step out of their resorts that they go to this place.
Yeah,
I mean, it's and I see this also in Cuba, which is so sad. And the Cubans, they need the money of the tourists. I mean, it's true. And I really I think you have the picture. Maybe you want to show it later of the of
mm,
Brian Elstock, who he really the design he made, Brian
yeah,
Elstock,
hmm,
about the series, that you see the tourists in there like in the sun, they don't care. But what do
but
you see here?
exactly
Our
that's
ancestors watching them, and
yeah,
had the stories, the untold stories. I mean,
ex-
go if you go there to, it's good, enjoy the sun, enjoy the beach, but go please also to the Tula Museum, or go to you know educate yourself also where you are.
where
It's
you are, because
yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
And please do not do what I see many tourists do. Like you say, you go lie there on your beach and all you do is, yo, where's my next drink?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's all inclusive.
yes,
So it's
exactly,
paid for,
yeah,
the really European way of looking at things. I paid for it, so now come get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That is just
Well,
neo-colonialism.
let's hope that after this more and more programs about the region, people also understand that they are in a region with a history,
With the
and
history.
but also that they have also a history. Their ancestors have also a history with
It
that
is their
region.
history too.
Yes, yes,
So please people, stop saying we've had enough of this because it's only for black people. It is not.
No.
A few more quick comments here. Where is it? My brother again saying he shares our desire for more documentaries, especially when made and presented by our people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so good to see that. It is really totally different,
yeah.
and I never had that when I was young.
Mhm.
And I think you didn't had it too.
No.
And so it's someone in the last episode of the series in Brooklyn, and she was like 30 years younger than I am, and she said there's if you it's there's nothing more beautiful than see yourself in
Exactly.
and that's true. I think that's
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to take you through your own series. What is it? Episode by episode. It started in Brazil.
Yeah.
Um, a quick roundup, Nina, because people need to go online
Yeah.
and watch this. But
Yeah.
tell us what is it that you unearthed when you traveled in Brazil for this program?
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I wanted to because people said, yeah, but Brazil is not a Caribbean, and then I said, yeah, culturally, and especially Bahia, where we went to. It's in the north of Brazil. It's the most African state actually. It has culturally this connection, and also the influence of the colonial time and slavery is very it's very visible in Brazil itself
Mhm.
until now. So I wanted to show that because it's serious. It's not a history series. We
No.
look at the islands and the countries now, but everything that we see has roots in the
Has
past. So
roots
that's
in the past.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also
So
I find it important to see where are the changes, who is going to make the difference, the change,
mhm,
and
mhm.
that's I saw in the like the female, the woman of Brazil, especially in this episode. Yeah,
It's always the women doing it. But
yeah,
you had this batucada band on the
yeah.
right, the
She's
picture on the right.
yeah. This is actually the olodum, the
Oh,
drum,
yes,
which is normally in Brazil culture in Bahia done by men.
by
And
men,
this is
exactly.
and this is the first female group, and it's so nice. They said, well, participate. Here's your drum, and it was the first time, and I feel really like it was relief, but I also felt power.
Yeah,
And they told me, yeah, when a woman is using the drum, she feels like she's powerful. She can do everything, and
there
they
you
use
go.
that as a base for girls and young women to get more proud of themselves because you have racism in Brazil.
Oh,
The
you do.
girl about the
Yeah,
hair and so with the drum and the group they get the women more consciousness and proud of themselves. Also.
exactly. About who they are. Let's
Yeah.
never forget the whole what do you call that? Plastic
Open.
surgery
Oh
that we see
yes.
now.
Yes.
It originated in South America. Do you realize
Amazing.
that
Yeah.
Brazil and
Yeah.
Venezuela were the first countries where women changed their nose, changed their lips, changed their hair, changed. Bleaching
Amazing.
came later, but I'm pretty sure bleaching goes on there as much as it does in the rest of the Caribbean. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's all our self-image, isn't it? And
Yes. And then
yeah,
not accepting yourself and also the whole
yeah,
division of color and which is with skin tone is good and not
yeah,
good and too dark and it's all in the Caribbean and you see it all in this series also.
and it's
Yeah.
all traceable back to those slavery
Yeah.
days
Yeah.
when being a lighter skinned slave meant you get to work in the house, didn't work
Yeah.
quite as hard. You were probably the slave master's child, so you got
Yeah.
some little privileges here and there, and that
Yeah.
lives on till this day.
Until now. Yeah.
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 All right. From that was your first episode. You moved back to
Yeah, this
Suriname
is
for
the
the second
story.
one.
Yeah, this
Very
is more the
touching.
family story of Paulina, the my great
Yes.
grandmother you saw at the beginning.
Yes, let me put her back
Yeah,
up again so people remember. This is
yeah, yeah,
her.
yeah. This is her, and she inherited a plantation and with her sister. And this plantation, a part of it,
From whom did she inherit?
from the last owner who um, she took care of him together with her
Ah,
sister. And
Yes.
so, as like he was very thankful to them, he gave the plantation to my great grandmother and her sister. So,
They were
uh,
indigenous, I believe, weren't
yes,
they?
they were indigenous,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, for me it was very important to tell in one of the countries an indigenous the story of the indigenous also,
Mm-hmm.
because we will forget them always, but they were the original inhabitants of the Caribbean. And they still,
Exactly.
we have the Carib, the Carib is still in Suriname, but also in other places, it's still a group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the Taino, you had also in
In
Jamaica and Puerto
Jamaica, yeah,
Rico,
and
yeah, Arawak, and there's a
Arawak,
lot of,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, all of those,
So
yes.
we did actually this story because in recent Suriname, it's the indigenous and also the Maroons who are very, on the social ladder, very low and don't have much rights.
Yeah.
So we connected the story of my own family and the plantation where we went to.
It was very
Yeah,
moving, Nina. I was crying, crying.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so there's a matter of what to do with the land. Don't tell the people. People just
No,
go
no,
online
no.
and check the
Yeah, yeah.
second
Check it,
episode of
check it. Yeah,
Nina's program. It was very touching, and you know, it's such a beautiful country. So
yeah,
and it's wonderful to have women travelers on television for a change. Usually, it's
yeah,
just a guy with a
yeah.
bag on his shoulder,
Yes.
and now we got all these brown and black women.
It's amazing, Aldis. We are now with at least five because it's like three in the other series. Two, and I hope there will be more. It's
There,
really so nice.
when I was filming in Suriname, there were two other girls there. I don't know what they made
Really?
or what they were there for, but we're
Well,
gonna
this
find
is
out.
good. So yeah,
Yeah.
so hopefully they will after. So we can maybe after I'm finished, there's you, and then after those, we have the whole year. We have our documentaries and
Yes, and after
female
that, we just stop
presenters.
making television. We'll just do it in our part of the world. Yeah, that would be great. So your third episode was in Trinidad.
Yeah.
I have to say Trinidad and Tobago because that's the country, but you were in Trinidad.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So
I was in
this is
Trinidad too.
yeah, this is British colonialism. So we had Portuguese in
Yes.
Brazil, we had Dutch in Suriname, now we have English. What is it
Yes.
you found in Trinidad that was different from the other places?
Well, and you have in Trinidad, you have two main groups who live there. It's like the the people with African roots, but
Mhm.
also you have a big group of people who have Indian roots, and
Yeah.
they came
From India.
after
Mhm.
from India, yes, and they
Yes.
came after slavery. They came there to work as on the plantations, but they get some money and they get some land.
Mhm.
So and they still have like some rituals they have. But what's so interesting for me was because in Suriname we have it also. We call them Hindustanen in
Mhm.
Suriname, and in Suriname they have still the language. But in Trinidad they do some prayers in Hindi, but they don't know what they are saying. They don't
Interesting,
have.
isn't that?
It's
Mhm.
it's amazing. Yes.
I
So they
remember
have
one.
the.
I remember one young woman telling you, "Yes, I know I have my Indian roots, but when people ask me what am I am West Indian."
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
it runs so deep, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. It's yes, and still also the English. Well, the crown it still has. They call it Gemene Best. They still
Hmm.
have the connection with the
The Commonwealth,
Caribbean.
yes,
Yeah, the Commonwealth. Yeah, the
yeah,
Commonwealth. Sorry, the Commonwealth. They still have this connection with islands like Jamaica, Trinidad. Um,
yeah,
they have a governor still
exactly. The
who
governor
is
reports straight to
because
to King
yeah,
Charles now. Yeah,
yes. I mean, and in Jamaica, yeah, of course you know that they have crown lands, So
yeah.
yeah, for me that was I didn't know it was. I thought it was more like a symbol, but it's not. It's
Hmm.
they have
No, no,
really
no, no,
some
no.
power there. So
There's exactly, exactly.
yes,
So
yes, and yeah,
this evening after we've done, because we
yeah,
planned this, your Curacao episode will run,
yeah.
uh, and I'm not showing anything of that. And I really didn't want to, to spoil it for others, but I have to touch on your Jamaica episode with you, which will air next week, the day that my program will start.
Is that
No,
no? I
You got
think
Dominican
no.
Republic next week.
Yes.
But you were there in Jamaica. You have to tell me.
Yes.
You have to tell me about that.
Yeah, well, you were not there. You were in the Netherlands, I guess.
You
I think
asked
we
me, and
missed
I
each
wasn't
other.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was my first time in Jamaica, and yeah, it was for me to hear from the people themselves how they are like conscious about their history and also the black history and all the things about Marcus Garvey. I think, wow, this is really, they are really much more further than other islands with this consciousness.
Well,
And also the
yes.
fact that these are national heroes. I mean, I'm in Suriname right now, and we had this also important maroon fighter, Bonnie.
Bonnie,
There is
yeah.
there is no statue for Bonnie in the whole country. And then I got
Uh-uh.
to Jamaica. You have the whole Emancipation Park and Nanny of the Maroons, who is a national hero. Marcus Garvey. I think, wow, these people are really much more further. And
Well,
yeah, that's
that
just
is Rastahood. It's Rastas who did
yes,
that.
yes,
So
I know.
that's why I'm so happy you
Yes,
got to go to Rasta people. And
yeah,
it's amazing because during my own travels for my program, what I noticed, what I heard all around me, the people we interviewed, who are on the forefront of the emancipation discussion and of the activism, they were all in some way formed in Jamaica.
yes, yes.
So that's
That's true.
interesting. Hmm.
Yes, I think it's a place where you maybe things that you already thought and but could not, give a name, and then you come in Jamaica and people tell you the things and give you like it's like a philosophy and the knowledge they have. And
And
you
the
think,
music
wow,
and the
yes, and the music, yeah,
poetry, all of it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all everything is there. So I can totally imagine that for people like you that you feel home there and that you everything is there.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well, that's
also find it very interesting to at the Marcus Garvey Center where we were that they still give these readings and yeah, and try to put his philosophy
mhm.
also in now in the with the young people, because there's what I understood in Jamaica is that young people also with the dance hall, they are like not so interested anymore. They are
Exactly.
are totally also with this bleaching and which is like more like a fashion thing for them,
Which
and they
which we see on the
wow,
right is when people actually put on a
yeah,
cream that takes out their
yeah.
melanin and they,
And
they
this
look
guy
like ghosts.
was just on the street, eh? He is a
Yeah.
singer, he's a popular singer. It was just on the street, and
Mhm.
and he said, and I said to him, but how is this possible? I mean, he was like joking about it, and I was, yeah, but okay, we're joking, but how is it possible? You are from the country where Bob Marley is from, Marcus Garvey, and people,
Young people
a
don't
country
care.
that fought against slavery. He said, well, no, I'm from slavery was. I'm after slavery and I don't care. And yeah,
Mhm.
that's really and also
Very.
how the Rastas are losing the whole thing of the uh, medical use of marijuana, because now
Yeah.
it's big companies that are into this business, and
Foreign
they left
companies.
out. Yeah, foreign
Foreign
companies,
companies. Yes.
Chinese, Canadians, and they are left out. There's was like,
Yes.
yeah, but we
Jama-
started with this.
exactly. That's what attracted the very early tourists to Jamaica.
Yeah,
I'm talking 70s, 80s, 90s. That's
yeah,
what attracted people to Jamaica in the first place. But this disconnect that you're mentioning with the young people versus the older
yeah,
generations, it comes straight back to that capitalism, globalism thing, because
yeah,
they too now have a phone and they're watching crap on YouTube all day. And that's what they want. They want the quick
yeah,
money, they want the light skin, because they say, which is actually true, they find work easier if they have a
yeah.
lighter skin. Talk
Yeah,
about neocolonialism.
it is really. I think, well, social media makes us maybe on one part more connected to each other, but
Mm.
also more disconnected to our, yeah, maybe to ourselves also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's so that's we show different things, different opinions about this, the relation also to the past. So
Mhm.
um, for me, it was also good to show this guy, to see what
Yeah.
his to hear from
Definitely.
him.
Oh,
Yeah, you
definitely.
can. So yeah, but we had a ritual time in Jamaica. Really,
I'm
yeah,
curious about your stay with the Rastas. Where
yeah.
where were you
Bobo
with them?
Shanti, the Bobo
Yeah.
Shanti, yes,
Mhm.
which was not so easy because
So it was in
um,
Portland, I guess you were.
I
Were
think
you?
so. I don't know.
Yeah, on the
It
east
was
side of the
on
island.
the hill. They have like a
Yeah.
community there.
Hmm.
It was not easy because, well, first of all, we had this whole. There were like restrictions, of course,
Hmm.
normal with clothes, but also we had to sign like agreement.
Ah.
And yeah, and in the agreement where, which was really interesting, we showed it also in the documentary, the agreement that they wanted to participate in the documentary for the people in the diaspora to
Wow.
get to so that people in the diaspora get to know more of their black selves. That is
Yeah.
what they how they described it in the agreement.
Hmm.
And we could not use reggae music in their part because they are they Marcus Garvey is a prophet for them, but they don't like the reggae music. They don't like Bob Marley. I think it's they like they I think it's because they think it's more to
Commercial.
commercialized. Yes, I
Well,
think so.
well, what I know about Rastas is, and I love it, is the night Nyabingi night. You know, when they
Yes,
do
yes,
drumming again,
yeah.
and
That's
I
what
got
I did. Yeah,
that's what did you were you
yeah.
there? Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell
No,
me.
no. Okay,
I'll
okay. I
find
didn't.
out. I'll find out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
wonderful stuff, and I really I don't know who did the research for you people, but
Yeah, she was great. That's Adelheid Kaptein. She's
ah
a great researcher, and it's good to mention her because there's a lot of fame always goes to me as a presenter, goes to the director, the producer, and everybody.
mm,
But Adelheid, she does the research for a lot of documentaries and she series also, and her talent is that she finds the right persons and this she really she knew already Jamaica.
ah
She yes, for me it was the first time also for the crew, but
yeah
she knew Jamaica. It was not easy for her because there was
no
also a lot of people who wanted the money for everything, so it was a difficult production.
mm.
But for the whole series, she did the research and she has a talent for the right persons to find them.
Well,
Yeah.
big up Adelheid because
Yes.
I know for a fact that it's really not very easy to come with your camera in any Rasta place.
Yes.
Of course,
Yes.
I did, and I'm gonna when we end
Yes.
the show, I'm gonna show you a little Nyabingi drumming that I filmed
Oh,
there years
nice.
ago. Yeah. The last episode, because after Jamaica, let me see. So you did Brazil, you did Suriname, you did Trinidad, Curacao, which
Curacao.
is tonight,
Yeah.
Dominican Republic.
It's very heavy tonight. I can. It's. I will not say anything, but for me, Curacao was the most
Yeah.
touching travel
Oh
trip.
wow.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I
Yes.
I was in
Yeah.
Curacao myself, so you know I'm gonna be watching to see
Yes. Yes.
what I
Yes.
go on. And
Yeah,
then you did
and
Dom
then
Rep.
Dominican Republic and the border of Haiti. We could not,
I
unfortunately, go to
I
Haiti
hate
because of the
that
situation.
country. I really
Yeah, but
hate that
we because of
country.
the situation, it was too dangerous. But I
Yeah.
wanted to tell the things also about the Haitians.
Hmm.
Then Jamaica, and we
Hmm.
end in Little Caribbean in Brooklyn.
In
Actually, yeah,
Brooklyn,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
this, I suppose.
Yes, yes, yes. This is the
Don't give
voodoo.
away too much,
Okay, no,
but
no,
when
no.
I do know because that's how you begin the whole the whole series. You
Yeah,
actually begin in Brooklyn, so I do know
yeah.
that what you find there is some sort of umbrella Caribbeanness.
Yes,
Maybe we can
yeah.
talk
It's
about that.
Yeah, I think when you are when there's no sea, when there are no borders, and people come together in like an area or in a city or a neighborhood, then you see the connection so sharply. It's really that's why I think the New York episode is really a good last one. That you see what happens when everything comes together, and then you see our similarities and that our culture is based on the same stones. It's really so interesting to see that,
Yeah.
and the
Because
diaspora is
what people
gives
might not
strength.
know, is that the United States, and most specifically New York, is a place where many Caribbeans move towards just to make money,
Yeah,
just to feed their children, just to have some kind of perspective in life. And you're telling me that by putting them all together, you suddenly see, wow, it's a Caribbean family.
yeah, yes,
And
and then yeah.
what would you say is the glue between them?
I think the glue is that we, on one side, are a people that were oppressed, but were so strong that we survived, and that although during colonial times our culture was like destroyed, we kept elements on the all islands, and these elements are also our strength.
Yes. Yes, your sound is cracking up just a little bit. I hope it becomes
And
better.
we were able. Okay, okay. You hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So I think that all these elements who became new cultures, each island has their own culture, but the elements are the same, and we are definitely we have our connection with Africa. We definitely have the connection with the indigenous. It was amazing to see. I was in a voodoo temple, and the signs they use in the temple are straight from the Taino, and they still use them. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it's amazing. So they still use that. Even the name Haiti, Haiti is an
I
indigenous name. Yeah, it's
Yes,
a Taino name. So
exactly.
after the colonial, the French, they called it Saint Dominique, Domingue
Domingue.
something.
Yes,
Yeah,
Saint
and then
Domingue.
after, and when they get their independence, fought for their independence, and then get their independence, the first thing they did was they called it Haiti, the Taino name, the
Yeah,
original name again. It's beautiful. I
it
mean,
is beautiful.
so we still we are our culture is on this different stones, even also the European parts, so that's we have in similar, there's the similarities, I think.
I so agree with you because I always knew it about myself, but after doing this tour myself, what I
Hmm.
know for certain now is I am a Caribbean because
Yes, me too. I have the
wherever I
same.
go, wherever I
Yeah,
go in the Caribbean, I'm gonna find the same humor. I'm gonna find the same food. I
yeah.
know how to talk to an old lady, and she will like me. I know she's going to like me because I got that mix of being reverent and still being sassy, and that's what she likes. So we and in fact that's what history was, because there are islands where they were brought towards just to be distributed to the rest of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it might well be that my somebody I spoke to in Curacao is actually my cousin, and or in
yeah.
state. Now, it's
Yeah,
a
maybe
wonderful
maybe you
thing.
have have a lot of family in Jamaica, and maybe you feel there at home.
Exactly.
It's possible. That's what this young woman in the next episode, she said. Maybe we stepped out on different boat stops, but we were on the same boat.
We were on the same boat.
That's it, and that's so nice to understand, and it gives you like feeling part of a group, of a big group, and
And and do you agree that you feel that, well, I know I feel it more than before I made my program. It does the same apply to you?
exactly,
So
totally.
that's
Oh,
the
that's
one
it.
good thing that came out of it already. And maybe
Yes,
that's the reason why we weren't allowed to make these programs until about 2 years ago. And now we're making them.
yes, and I really hope that this will continue, because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of stories. I'm also I saw that you did when your series were the launch of your series. I thought that I saw Orville, the presenter, interviewed you. He also
Yeah.
made this very great series about black unknown people in
Unknown
Europe.
people. Yes.
There are books coming. My good
There's a
friend
lot of literature to be.
Jeffrey Spalberg wrote a great book about his father, and it's when I wrote a book, and I thought, this is history,
This
and
is
it's
history
oral
happening.
history. So it's so important that we continue writing, making films, documentaries from our perspective to strengthen ourselves also. It's very
Yes,
important.
and to make the history in this part of the world, this European part of the world, more complete than it has been
Yes,
ever.
definitely.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to you in just a little moment about your upcoming plans after you've taken a rest. But first, let me tell the people that the next program, the next Poca TV Live, will not be at the end of July because I too am in dire need of a little vacation. So it will be on August the 25th, and my very special guest then will be a totally different story. She's a world famous pianist, and I know her from here in the Netherlands. Lestari Scholtes is her name, and she will be joining me on Poca TV Live and telling me about what she does all over the world on her piano, sometimes with two pianos even. So Lestari Scholtes will be my guest on August the 25th. So, and to end the story with Nina, you are now taking a well-deserved break, as
Yeah.
anybody knows you need. Um, what's next?
I really don't know yet.
Mm-mm.
I go back to Brazil on the 4th of July, and then go back also to my, because of the project. I really was very busy with a lot of things, and now I feel I need to go back to basic, to say that,
Yeah.
back to my base, and from there, I don't know. It gives me a lot of energy that people that are like positive reactions on the series, the
Oh,
times we're
you
in now. That's so important. It gives you a boost.
you
So
are understating this, Nina. You have shot to heaven with this series. I haven't heard anybody complain anything about the series. So you must realize there's always going to be a time before you did From
of
Bahia
course.
to Brooklyn, and the time after that. So you're all
I'm
over
now
the
in the
news.
break. I'm now in the break. I'm now in taking
Yeah.
I think it's good also to because I wasn't alone for weeks. It was in the Netherlands. Now I'm here, so it's good to go back to Brazil, back to base, and then from there I see it.
You'll
It's
see. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will happen, but if it doesn't immediately, it's what I hope for you. I hope you get to carry on doing what stuff like you're showing us right now. And remember, people, in just about an hour from now, part 4 of Nina's series will run,
Yeah.
and it will run
Yes.
3 more weeks after this. Don't forget, she's early evening. I'll be late evening next week, but I'll be telling you about that. But I
Yes.
do wish for you that what you're showing us now with your team, sure, but the product that you are showing us now will make it easier for you to sell your stories, to be taken seriously, to be the expert, the person that we have in that area who can tell us why things
I
are the
really
way they
hope
are.
so. I
Yeah.
really hope so, because there was a time that I at AT5 had to, well, I'm sure you have these stories also for yourself, that you think, why is nobody understand this, that it's important, and
Yeah.
but I'm really happy that we live in times that we are celebrating or remembering also tomorrow, Kitty Kotti, and there's a lot of places in the Netherlands where they have now Kitty Kotti,
Yeah, which is the commemoration of the abolition of
of the
slavery. Yes.
that it's not a curiosity anymore, but getting more and more a normal thing to
Yeah.
have this day. So that's good, very good.
And the one thing that changed that, I wish we'd had more time to discuss it, is the fact that now the Dutch government has gone out on a limb
Yeah.
and said officially, it happened. We apologize. We need to work on this. And that has opened all these doors for us now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all we
very
ever
important.
wanted. That's all we
Yeah.
ever wanted, for it to be recognized and for somebody to say sorry. And yes, we must talk about reparations, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
That's a whole different
Yeah,
story.
that's no different. I think it starts with this apologies, which is it's really important
Yeah.
also for people in the Caribbean. And
Mhm.
now I see, and that's so good, that maybe other, like maybe the British finally will do it also
Yeah,
to
I
the
believe so,
Jamaicans
because,
and the three.
you know, their new king really isn't the worst in the world. I mean,
Hmm.
he's got some, he always did have some radical ideas. So I wonder what we're going to see come from him on this topic.
Well,
We'll have to wait and
hopefully
see.
he will surprise us.
Let's hope for the best. So thank you so
Yes.
much, Nina. It's been such a joy talking to you, and I feel we
It
could
was an
go on for
honor,
hours.
and yeah, Aldit, you are. I'm really. You are really. It's so good that you never left the TV, and when you were not on the Dutch TV, that you started your own channel, and it's great, and I'm really so glad that you are back on TV, national TV,
Thank
and
you.
still have Poca TV. So that's very good.
PocaTV is here to stay, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to, because yeah, I did miss it. So thank you for saying that, Nina. Have a lovely time in Suriname.
Thank
Hug your
you.
children
Yes.
and your partner for me, and we're gonna have to be keeping in touch via WhatsApp the coming months, but we will definitely do
Definitely.
that. All right.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
again, and
Okay.
see you soon. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye. So that was Nina Jurna. Like I said, next month I'll be talking to Lestari Scholtes, the piano player of world fame. And not next month, at the end of August on the 25th. Until such time, no, I need to tell you how I will be playing out. I will be playing out with Naya Bingi drumming, which is what Rastas do in Jamaica. And I'll dedicate it to Nina. This is a very, very old recording that I did in the middle of the night at the Valley of Decision right outside Montego Bay. And that's how I'm going to play out. So see you again at the end of August. Until such time, be good, be nice, take care of each other, and stay well. Bye, everybody.